Hello, my name is Matthew, and it's the first of the year. It's 2022, so Happy New Year, everybody. And of course, this is the time to um, think about what kind of reading year I want 2022 to be. Like anyone that's reading daily, there's always this ongoing list of books that I want to read, books that I want to get to on my docket, notches that I want to put up, and all of those things. But I pulled down a whole bunch of books that I thought I would show and talk about, things that I feel like I really want to spend a lot of time with this year. And some of these I've shown before, and I've already said that I want to read them and all that. So there's kind of two different categories. One is going to be the unrealistic books that I want to read this year, and then the other category would be what I most likely will be reading. So something along those lines. And as far as like the unrealistic or less probable is Geoffrey Chaucer. And I have this thing. It's the Canterbury Tales, the Middle English whole version. And I've gone into this. I believe I made a video just like this at the beginning of last year, holding up the same book. And if I get to it, my plan has changed a little bit. I would like to read the translated, shorter version of the Canterbury Tales, and this is translated by Neville Coghill. And Chaucer is just one of those authors that's a classic that has evaded me, and I feel like there's more of a feeling of intimidation than I usually feel, and I think the language barrier is a large part of that. So I really would like to read the Canterbury Tales just as much this year as I did last year. And again, that also goes for the works of Livy. I only pulled out this one either last year or the year before. I got those really big eyes, the kind of eyes when you have just a craving, a big appetite, and I bought the whole of all of the works of Livy. And I have read a fairly good portion of selections throughout Livy. This one, also the War with Hannibal. The issue that I have with Chaucer and Livy is, although they're both writers that I want to read, find enjoyment in daily, my daily life, there's always some other thing that I'm already invested in. And so it's just a matter of carving out time and making a point to focus on the kind of books that are more like long-term goals, something like that. So Chaucer and Livy. Last year, I had the great pleasure of reading the Iliad and the Odyssey with Steve Donahue, which was fantastic. If you're watching, thank you again, Steve. And reading them so quickly, I felt did a lot for me. I had read both of them before, but reading them just about a month apart, the Iliad was still really fresh in my mind, and they're so entertaining. And I had this idea last year, and want to continue it if I can, finishing the Odyssey and then fairly quickly getting into the Aeneid. This is translated by David Ferry, and again, very quickly following that up with the Metamorphoses by Ovid. So just going through the epic poems, one by one. The Aeneid does form a stumbling block because, though I didn't get to reading this one straight away, I did read Virgil in November. I read the Eclogues and the Georgics, or Gorgics, or however you say that. And I really felt like I had my fill of Virgil. I did not find it to be entertaining or engaging. It just felt so wooden and academic, and all of the things that I might have bad associations with when I think of old dusty books. Virgil really imprinted that on me with those Eclogues. But even still, it's the Aeneid by Virgil, and the Metamorphoses I've read and love. So if I have my vegetables with Virgil, I know the Metamorphoses will be a nice treat after that. Okay. And some more classics I'll show. There's a lot of classics here. I had recently got the landmark Xenophon's Anabasis. This beautiful book. I've shown it before. It has all the maps and all of that. And I've read Xenophon's dialogues with Socrates, and I haven't read anything else. I know he wrote other historical works and philosophical works, and this is one of them. And I just have that that mind frame when I look at this and think, well, it's kind of new, and I think, how fun would it be to read the histories by Herodotus, quickly followed up by the history of the Peloponnesian War by Thucydides, have all of that really fresh in my brain, and then go to Xenophon's Anabasis. This is also what I mean by unrealistic. I can just as well, if I'm in the mood, read this, but when I think about a whole year and all the goals that I can have, and being optimistic and wide-eyed, that's the kind of thing that I like to think about. More realistic goals, things that are more likely to happen quickly. I have the Barchester Towers by Anthony Trollope, and sometime at the end of the year I read The Warden by Trollope, the first of the series, and I loved it. I've read a little bit of Trollope. I read The Way We Live Now. Great big thick book, fantastic, and I still have The Warden fresh in my mind, and I'd really like to read this and enjoy it, and then decide if I want to go on to the next one and go through the Barchester series. So this is very likely. Spanish literature. I have a book in the mail. I ordered a book that's coming. I'll make a video when that shows up. But I really want 2022 to be full of lots of Spanish literature, and the literature of Spain in particular. My girlfriend lives in Spain, and this is the year where I'm going to visit. We thought it was going to be at the end of last year, and there was the Delta variant, and we erred on the side of caution. Very disappointing, but we're both determined. At the beginning of this year, we're going to meet, and that means I had this idea. When we get all the plans, the dates, and everything nailed down, I'm going to read part 1 of Don Quixote. This is the Edith Grossman translation. And then during my visit, during the flight, and any time that I do happen to be reading while I'm in Spain, part 2 will be the whole of my reading during my visit to Spain and meeting my beautiful girlfriend and all of those things. So, Don Quixote by Cervantes, and lots of other Spanish literature as I can find it. This is a Brazilian writer, I believe. It's Epitaph of a Small Winter by Machado de Assis. I believe this was a gift from one of you. Forgive me, I have bad memory. If you sent it to me, thank you again. And just in that same vein of Spanish literature, Spanish language literature, this is a book that I would like to read this year, and it's not a long thing, and I've only heard good things about it. So, Epitaph of a Small Winter. And what else do I have? I'll hold it up just because I pulled it, but the Bible, and in particular the Old Testament. I pick up the Bible fairly often. I'd like to have a more, when I think of the whole of the year, I like the idea of having a systematic approach and spending time with all of those fantastical, larger-than-life stories that you can find in the Old Testament, and have it be a companion for the year. It's something that I pre-considered. So, the Bible. And this is a book that I got from watching one of Steve's videos, and it's a door stopper. But it's my favorite kind of book. Those great big long Russian books, and it was something I had never heard of. I still haven't heard of it, except that I have it. But it's The House of Government by Yuri Sleskine, and it's one of those, from what I understand, it's one of those microcosm books. I'll use examples like The Cancer Ward or The Magic Mountain, and with this one, it's this great big long book describing a single building with all of the tenants and all of the apartments and all the happenings of this one little building, to, by extension, talk about a whole world. And I love those kinds of things. And I haven't touched it, I haven't dipped in or sampled it or anything, but I want to give this one an earnest attempt and see if I like it. Okay, and I'll end with Dostoevsky, and kind of accidentally, just through the couple years that I've had my little channel, it occurred to me at some point that I've gone through reading those great big books, the Idiot and Demons and Crime and Punishment, and the Karamazov brothers, and with the Karamazov brothers and Crime and Punishment making those read-alongs that I thought were just such great fun. And I have two more that I can read. One is Memoirs from the House of the Dead, which maybe I'll read before the end of winter. I don't know if I would do a read along on this one, but I've read it before. It's harrowing. And then The Adolescent. I have the Richard Pever, Volonkhonsky translation here, which if I have my sights set out as far as they could be, this could potentially be the Dostoevsky read-along for the next December. And these are things that I just pulled out as pegs, things that I always kind of want to be getting to, things that I'm always interested in, recurring, fresh in my mind. And the great thing about having a whole year ahead of you is also all the surprises, all the great things that are ahead of me that I have no idea about. What am I going to be interested in the 1st of February, in the 1st of March? And, this time last year, I didn't think I'd be reading comic books and science fiction, and I had great fun with that. So, some reading goals, some far-flung and unrealistic, and other things that I know that I will be getting to. If there are books that you know that you will be reading this year and you care to share, please let me know. I would love to hear everything that you want to read, and maybe we can find things to read together. We'll see about that. And so, thank you for watching. Please leave a comment if you would like, and take care.